Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be talking about Neverness to Everness for the upcoming game that will be releasing on April 29th, 2026, which is coming up pretty soon. Now, I want to talk about this that I've been hearing about this game's actual engine and how the game is actually going to run on mobile, not just console. Fortunately, we already know that Neverness to Everness is coming to console, but it's also coming to mobile. But it seems that they figured out how to optimize the game for Mediatek CPUs for Neverness to Everness because Neverness to Everness runs Unreal Engine 5. So this is what we're going to be looking into. We're going to be seeing what they're saying. What they were doing to this game for their development. This was all the way back in January 23rd, 2026, which is months ago. But we're going to talk about this and what they're planning to do, what they've been putting out for a long while. They've been very silent. I guess they've just been working on developing the game and working very hard, putting in work. So let's get started. So this is what Neverness is going to be optimized for is MediaTek CPUs. So as you see on the screen here. Now, why are they optimizing the CPU for MediaTek? Maybe because MediaTek is a lot more well, I wouldn't say more optimized. I would say it's more efficiency. I think it has something to do with efficiency, and I think that MediaTek CPUs are a lot more has a lot more efficiency than Snapdragon CPUs. But I'm not saying Snapdragon CPUs aren't powerful or they don't have any efficiency. What I'm saying is just that maybe they're optimizing more for the MediaTek CPUs because we're getting more and more MediaTek chips that we're actually getting. So here's what they're saying down here. The supernatural or urban open world RPG Neverness to Everness blends anime aesthetics with modern society design enriched by a variety of supernatural elements together. This creates a visual immersive game world with impressive lighting and shadows effects. Although this Unreal Engine 5 based title has not officially launched yet because it's not released on April 29th. Well, actually the game releases on the 28th, but sometimes it can be later for other countries to the 29th. That's basically what I'm saying. Um Open world, okay, it says it's outstanding combination of anime style urban open world. Unreal Engine 5 graphics has already attracted significant attention from players. I'm gonna be straight up honest with you guys. Unreal Engine 5 is not a good engine. I'm being straight up. Unreal Engine 5 sucks. Is not a good engine. And I always heard of people saying that, Unreal Engine is a great engine. Yeah, it's a great engine to graphics, but it's not a great engine to frame rate. And it has a downside because, Unreal Engine 5 they use nanite for Unreal Engine 5, which makes it harder to actually run on devices such as the PS5, such as the mobile phones, uh, stuff like that. Even computers, desktop computers, that tries to run Unreal Engine 5, knowing that Unreal Engine 5 is just not stable on particular devices because you need a more powerful phone or you need a more powerful console or you need a more powerful computer to actually play these games, and you need enough RAM because you need just enough to actually run this game. Neverness to Everness continues to attract strong global attention with reaching 20 million total pre-registrations across multiple platforms worldwide. Now, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I just want to read some of the stuff. We're going to skip down. We're going to look more into how they're doing it for Mediatek CPUs. To ensure players receive a smooth gaming experience while extending the immersive playtime, Mediatek and Neverness to Everness entered into a deep collaboration to leverage the advantages of Mediatek Deminsity frame rate converter. So this is what they're actually doing for Neverness to Everness for Mediatek Dimensity CPUs chipsets. They're using a frame rate converter, which is very interesting, and how they're actually making this game run with Mediatek CPUs. This is actually they're focusing more on Mediatek than Snapdragon, which is incredible here. This is a different shift. Maybe because, like I said before, it has something to do with efficiency. Maybe because most MediaTek CPUs are actually have the highest efficiency more than Snapdragon. Now, Snapdragon might be more powerful, but it's less efficiency. You know what I mean? It doesn't have that extra boost when it comes to battery. Now, it seemed like, oh, it does push out more battery power. Well, yes and no, because honestly, it ties more into the CPU because how powerful the CPU is for Snapdragon. It does use more power, but the power for the battery does not get damaged. It was actually the CPU that gets damaged because the CPU overheats, not the battery. So there's a big difference there. So the efficiency gets lower for Snapdragon CPUs because how powerful the CPU actually is. And that's why it causes overheating issues with Snapdragon and not with MediaTek. And I think that's the reason why they're going with MediaTek, because MediaTek has higher efficiency with lower heat dissipation when it comes to overheating issues or something like that. And it seems that MediaTek CPUs have um, a better optimization for heat dissipation rather than Snapdragon. I think that's where they're kind of going with this. MediaTek expertise in smart TVs has allowed it to take its frame interpolation technology and create the Dimensity frame rate converter for smartphones. Okay, so that's how they're doing it. It can improve games' frame rate to deliver an ultra smooth, high frame rate gameplay experience. This ecosystem solution can also leverage additional information to optimize game graphics and achieving breakthrough in both visual quality and smoothness. So that's how they're doing it with MediaTek Dimensity CPUs, is their interpolation technology using as a frame rate converter from TVs, which is weird. I didn't expect they was going to actually do it that way, and they figured out how to do it on mobile instead of optimizing for Snapdragon. I know everybody likes Snapdragon, the most powerful CPU in existence. Of course, everybody's going to like it, but Snapdragon has one downside: is not enough efficiency, and you have lower RAM, because I think Snapdragon CPUs are capped at 16 gigabytes of RAM, but cannot actually go to 24 unless you have a gaming phone to actually do that. But most phones that have Snapdragon 8 Elite processors do not have 24 gigabytes of RAM. They have 16 is what they're capped at. And which is good. RAM speed matters more than a RAM amount, which is true. But then again, sometimes you need RAM amount in order to have high efficiency for your games to actually stabilize on high graphics and high frame rate to some degree. Game ecosystem partners can use UI separated or non separated color buffers, game motion and depth information according to their needs. Using these inputs, algorithms fine tune graphics quality and performance. Okay. Let's go down here. During the collaboration, the two teams adapted optimized the game for the Deminsity frame rate converter technology with Mediatek's comprehensive ecosystem, including the MFRC SDK sample code, initialization process, setup process, rendering process, and full cycle graphics tuning allowed Neverness to Everness to efficiently integrate MFRC technology. So it says to efficiently. So basically, efficiency is actually the key for this game to run very good on mobile and not just Apple phones or Snapdragon CPUs. I'm not saying that this game is not going to run on a Snapdragon 8 Elite or Snapdragon CPUs. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying they're optimizing for Mediatek more than they're doing it for other CPUs out there. That's probably what this is going to be about. Okay. MFRC excels in hot, heavy load scenarios by overcoming performance bottlenecks. Bottlenecks, I know what they're talking about. Bottlenecks. Frame rate drops, graphics, frame time spikes, stuff like that. To achieve the dual benefits of improving frame rate and battery life. Okay, that's good. Life. In CPU limited or high load scenarios, enabling MFRC not only provides power consumption savings up to 40%. Wow, that's pretty good. But also maintains peak frame rates and minimizes thermal throttling, which is bottlenecks. Bottlenecks is another word for thermal throttling, but people don't use the word bottlenecks. They use the word actual thermal throttle. But bottlenecks is another way for saying thermal throttling. To improve sustained performance even in medium to high load scenarios and effectively reduces power use, providing players with consistently stable and smooth gaming experience. Now that's what I'm talking about and what they're actually doing for Mediatek CPUs for Neverness to Everness, even though this game runs Unreal Engine 5. And to be honest, Unreal Engine 5 runs better on mobile than it does on console. I would say that all of the PS5 Unreal Engine 5 games that I've tried on my console are so unrunnable and unoptimized on my PS5 most of the time. And I usually cannot run Unreal Engine 5 games on my PS5. It's actually my phone that's actually handling the Unreal Engine 5 far better than my PS5 can ever handle. Especially, I can't even run Black Myth Wukong on my PS5. The game doesn't run, unfortunately. The game is too high demanding. It far exceeds my PlayStation's frequency or whatever. It just far exceeds it, and I just can't run Black Myth Wukong because that game runs on Unreal Engine 5 and it's very demanding. So my PS5 can't even run that game because how demanding that game actually is. And then, I don't know, my PS5 just can't run that game. I don't know if it's just the optimization is really bad or maybe it's just far exceeds my own PlayStation's maximum limits, you know? But that's not the whole point of this video here. I'm just keeping a buck, but I'm just making a lot more sense that, Unreal Engine 5 works better on mobile devices than it does on console and stuff like that. Is there anything else? No. What do you guys think about Mediatek CPUs are actually being very optimized for this particular game, which is this open world game that's coming on April 28th, 2026, but also the 29th for other countries at a later date. Now, this is technically probably going to be one of the best games ever released. I watched their live stream about this game particularly, and one of the best live streams ever. We're getting a free character, free 5-star character, maxed out. We're getting so much rewards, lots of rewards, and it's going to be a blast for Neverness to Everness to be released on April 28th, 2026. So stay tuned for that game because it's coming up pretty soon. Pre-register for the game, get more people on this game, and I'm going to be streaming it. Well, not streaming, but I will be posting on my channel because I don't actually stream because streaming takes too much and it puts too much strain on my phone to actually do streaming. So I will be making my first part video for this game, and I'm going to continue making more parts. And we will do some gaming tests, performance, and how the game handles on my phone because my phone uses Mediatek Deminsity 7400 Ultra, so my phone is actually optimized for this game. So we will be doing some gaming tests. We're gonna go to different locations. We're gonna test the performance, the frame rate, and everything like that. We're gonna see how the game handles. See how my phone handles this game, and we'll go based off of there. So see you guys in the next video. Peace out.